Hey guys, how we doing? Welcome back to the Fontana podcast. Really happy you can join in. I know it's been a long time since the last one. Just kind of ran out of words to say. And that is very unlike me because, I can talk for Scotland. But, this one today is on consistency. I know that's a phrase that we say a lot, but it's harder to put into practice and it's easier said than done. And what I mean by consistency is day by day, week by week, month by month, keep ticking the boxes, keep showing up, keep getting the work done, even when you don't feel like it. And that's the hardest part. That's why consistency is so hard to attain, because in the background of consistency, the pillar behind consistency is discipline. Because there's the other old foe across the road called motivation. And I think motivation is bullshit because it's like a firework. It goes up, makes a nice fancy bang, and then all of a sudden you're left with rubble and dust and nothing is there to back it up. Whereas the discipline is the candle that keeps burning. It's not fancy, it's not flashy, but it backs up the consistency, even when you don't feel like it, even when you don't want to go out and do those, hard marathon sessions, 10k sessions, 5k sessions, hard gym workouts. Discipline is there to keep you consistent, and consistency is the thing that will get you closer. I'm not going to say that consistency is going to get you your goals, because at the end of the day, we can be as consistent with poor practice, with good practice, with perfect practice, and we're all going to end up with different results. But consistently working towards your goal and mastering your craft, and in my discipline, it's running. Consistently turning up, getting out the door, starting that watch, even when your legs are tired or your head's not quite in it, is going to get you one step closer towards your goal than hitting the snooze button and getting back to bed and getting those extra 45 to 60 minutes of sleep, and then allowing the day to take over the rest of your routine. And you're probably thinking, well, yep, sometimes you're tired, you need to rest. Understand that, so listen to your body. One of the best ways I feel that I can keep consistent is by getting up and training first thing in the morning. So getting it done and out the way before work, because it seems like when we wait till after work, there is always some sort of shit that will pop up and distract us or take our focus away or our time away from doing training in the evening. So whether that be, you get family, so you get kids, the wife, the husband, dinner's not been made, dinner has to be made, the dinner isn't in the fridge, or whatever it may be, as to work late, something pops up and you snoozed the alarm in the morning because you wanted that extra 60 minutes sleep. Rightly so, because you might have been tired. But again, sometimes you have to make those sacrifices to get that training in. And how I've found consistency through the years is by getting the hardest thing done first in the morning. And that will be getting out and doing my training session, either for the marathon or for the 10k, or my recovery running as well. Because it always seems like, and also I work till about 8 or 9 o'clock at night. So going out and doing a run or a session at 9 o'clock at night, it's just not going to fly with me. So you need to set up your day to maximise your training routine that maximises your potential. So consistency, showing up, getting it done, even when you don't feel like it. And there is going to be more days where you don't feel like it than when you do feel like it. I can guarantee you that. Can guarantee that you're going to feel like not going out a run. If we're looking in sort of the discipline that I'm in, I don't feel like waking up and going for a run every day. I don't feel like waking up and battering my body during the marathon session every day. Sometimes I'll wake up, I'll be walking around like an old man. Ankles are sore, knees are sore, hips are sore, maybe my low back might be a wee bit sore. And, after 2 cups of strong coffee, I'm like, right, what you going to do? You're just going to sit there and cry about it? Or are you going to get up and do something about it? Because my competitors and the clock do not care how I feel or if I miss a day or a train that day, they're getting up and they're taking care of business as well. Just like yourself who's listening to this, getting up, taking care of business. And at the end of the day, during the race, nobody cares about how you feel. We only care about being on the right side of the clock, making that position that we wanted to achieve within the race, whether that be first, whether it be second, whether it be third, whether it be 10th, 20th. Everybody's got their own goals. But if we don't keep training, even when we don't feel like it, and we only train when we do feel like it, then our position and our times are going to be a lot worse. And this is where it comes up to this pain-pleasure scale, where is it more painful for the result, or is it more painful to miss the session? I'll say that again. Will missing a training session be more painful because you don't get the result that you wanted, or is it going to be more painful to actually go out there and do the training session? So what I'm saying there is, are you willing to suffer the pain of the training to get you to where you want to go? Or are you going to suffer the pain of regret because you know that you should have went out and done that and you didn't get the results that you wanted? So looking at it from those two angles, and usually more often than not, when I'm sitting down having my second cup of coffee and I've maybe got a training session on the cards, if I take you back to, so today is Wednesday, and yesterday I had a marathon session. It was 5k warm-up, 4 times 5,000 metres with a 1,000 metre float, 5k cool down. And I was working till 9 o'clock on the Monday, 9 o'clock in the evening. So I started at 10 a.m, finished at 9 p.m. And, I had quite a heavy day with, clients maybe having a bit, some problems here and there. Lots of anxieties leading up to the London Marathon, all these sort of things, and trying to calm them down, and you're taking in all that baggage. So sometimes it's hard for me to separate myself from my clients' problems because I care so much about trying to help them. So that gets put on me. And then on the Tuesday, I just didn't seem as if I could shake any of the sort of problems that they kept popping in. I was like, how do I help this person through this hard point, or how do I help this person through here when I'm out on my warm-up? So my head really wasn't in the game, but I knew that I had to get this. Well, I didn't have to get it done. In my eyes, I had to get it done, but in the grand scheme of the world, I didn't have to get it done. But I knew that getting this done was really important because I've got a half marathon race coming up the following weekend, and if I didn't get this marathon session done on the Tuesday, then I'm going to be decreasing the amount of recovery time between that marathon session and the half marathon race the following weekend. So I had to get it done within the programme on that day, so then I can start phasing down my taper towards the half marathon race. So even though I didn't feel like it, my head wasn't in it, I just got up, got into the canal, started getting it done. And you just see when that you've just, your head's not there, the body isn't just it's just not clicking, like things are just, the pace from the get-go just felt a little bit sluggish and rough from when I started the Garmin. And, how I cope with those sort of sessions where things aren't going so well, I kind of go, well, there's usually some races on a Saturday or a Sunday where we turn up to and we start warming up, or maybe when the gun goes and we don't quite feel, we just didn't feel like our body was ready to give a max effort that day. Because it is hard. It's hard to, tell your body on, X date on a day at a specific time, I want you to perform to the maximum of your potential. It's really hard for that. It's finding a needle in a haystack. So you have to be sort of realistic. Not every day or every race you turn up to, you're going to be feeling, even if you taper, at your absolute best, 100%. So, I went through in my head, just think about maybe you feeling this way at the half marathon the following weekend, and a 10k race or a marathon race where the gun goes and you're it's a wee bit, just a little bit more effortful for the pace just on that moment in time. And the demons could be going mad, the negative self-talk can be going mad, but I just had to say to myself that this could happen on race day. So, just got it done, but by the end of it, I was, rep 4. So 1, 2 and 3, 5Ks were good. And then on rep 4, I just felt my legs lose the power. So I had to stay focused within the sort of the chaos that was going on in my head, because the feedback from the watch and the feedback from the legs and the body, the breathing was fine, the legs were just starting to really lose power. And you know, when I started in the mindset that I was in, you know, I was very, very close to throwing in the towel and really just calling it a day, because I kind of was like, I could justify the excuse, you know, with the, you know, how I started, just knew it wasn't going right, and eventually it didn't go right. I don't know if that was maybe a law of attraction, me manifesting that, I don't know, but I just knew that just yesterday wasn't my day. It was my first marathon session as well, and I set the session myself as well. Like I didn't have the coach setting me this. I just was like, you know what, I'm gonna get after this one today. Like I'm gonna give myself a real meaty session, see where I'm at. And you know, I didn't quite like seeing where I was at. You know, I'm gutted that I didn't fulfill what I wanted to fulfill within the session. But again, like I tell a lot of people, failure is feedback. You know, you never quite get it right this time, but what can we better on that session to be better prepared for the next one? So, you know, just logically dissecting it. But again, if we shift that focus back to the consistency and doing things even when you don't feel like it, that discipline, I'm really, really happy with myself that I was able to get that 4th rep done and not stop the watch and pull the plug. Because there's been a few times in my my career where, you know, I would have called it a day when I didn't see the time, you know, show me nice things on the miles, the kilometre splits. But, you know, being a bit more mature, looking at it from a logical point of view instead of an emotional point of view, I was able to dissect it and just sort of go through the hurt locker and understand that maybe this might happen to me during the marathon day. And this is the thing with you guys as well, who are listening to this. You know, you're not always going to feel that you want to race come race day. So the same thing when it happens in your day-to-day sort of midweek training, you're not going to feel like, you know, pushing your body or going out for a recovery run, going out for a long run. But when you do that, you're going to get yourself closer to race shape that will allow you to maximise your potential come race day. If you don't get out and stay consistent with your training, you train one day really hard and then you take 3 days off, or you get up in the morning and you just kind of run on emotion. So, you know, you smash your training session and you just keep digging yourself a hole, and you can't get the next training session sort of put together with the previous one. So maybe your Tuesday's really, really tough and you smash your body, then it comes to your Thursday session or Friday session, whatever it may be, and you've just not got the juice in the legs, because again, you didn't just sort of take care of business and you aren't training consistently. You know, one day you're up, the next day you're down, and these can also lead to fluctuations in your performance. So, you know, just a quick one, just to, you know, help anybody out there who is struggling with consistency, understanding that you don't need motivation to train. You don't need to feel like training to train. The same way you don't feel like going to work, but you go to work anyway. So just think of that one, just ponder that for a second and just think about, I don't really feel like going to work, but why do I keep going? Well, because your financial situation is super important to you. It's of a high priority. So then how about you get your mind into that same state where you're running, where you're training, where you're athletics. You keep showing up even when you don't feel like it. And then when the day comes where you do feel like it's a bonus. So hopefully this helps somebody out there just reshape their mindset, just sort of look at it from a different perspective, a different point of view, and understand that we do not need to feel like training to train, because that's what discipline is. And then when you've got discipline, it creates consistency. When you're consistent with your training, you'll get more consistent results. And then you'll know exactly where you're at come race day. Alright, I hope you have a good one. And hopefully these are more of many. See ya!